This could be the world in just 8 years, draped in the colors of China, and most of it governed by what scholars call a Beijing-inspired authoritarian meritocracy. At least that's what a recent report by The Economist suggests. The report divides the world into 4 main zones of governance. There are the full democracies like New Zealand under Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, the flawed democracies like the US, seen by some as the world's champion of freedom and human rights, the hybrid, no more democracy but not yet authoritarian, like Pakistan, and finally the full-blooded dictatorship, the best example being North Korea. The Economist says the last two have grown stronger since the coronavirus pandemic began, with people around the world allowing the deprivation of personal freedoms in return for health, social security and economic sustenance. The report says the trend will continue and could mean the end of democracy being accepted as the best mode of governance. The findings show that the definition of textbook democracy wavers according to people and cultures. That's why the data to support the argument has been quantified on a narrower scale. It's called electoral democracy, and the Economist research unit developed an index to measure it. The Economist says electoral democracy must include 5 principles that can be measured on a scale of 1 to 10. The first is the ability to conduct free and fair elections, including the security of ballots and the right of every adult citizen to vote. The second is who has the most power and influence to implement policy. Countries with freely elected representatives making the final decisions on policy matters have the highest points. The third is the lack of discrimination on the basis of sex, ethnicity or race, the political awareness of citizens and the ability of the public to hold rallies and demonstrations. The fourth is a general consensus with the citizens that an elected government is better than even an efficient one but semi-autocratic one. The fifth is the right of all political parties to broadcast their electoral message through media outlets, canvassing people and rallies. The Economist says that, according to its index, China scores between 1 and 2 on almost all of these principles. But the report also says it scores in the top ranking on another measure, public confidence in authority. That's true of many of its allies or states with similar authoritarian governments. On the other hand, while Western democracies score highly on the Freedom House Index, their marks for public confidence are abysmal. The report says the best indicator of this is mass protests in most democracies of the government's handling of the pandemic. It says that's matched by a growing desire to replicate the seemingly strong leadership in states such as China and Russia. And with China's rise as a premier economy in the world, support for similar systems is growing. Mark Klusener, TRT World.